Food Truth series takes a deep dive into the seafood you're eating, starting with shrimp.
This is actually what happens to most of the shrimp that we eat. It's grown in these big vats.
The hidden ingredient you may be eating. We have your shopper's guide to pick the safest and healthiest shrimp.
Mark's come up with a checklist to ensure your shrimp is safe to eat.
Plus, is your calamari really squid, or could it be pork intestines? You've got to see what we uncovered in our Food Truth series. Coming up next.
We'll save lives today. You guys ready to get healthy? Welcome to the show. Thank you very much. So, is the shrimp you're buying contaminated? There are growing concerns that the shrimp we're bringing into this country from international waters may be unhealthy. And today, in our Food Truth series, we're investigating and showing you how to tell the good shrimp from the bad while grocery shopping. Then we're investigating a rumor about the fried calamari that you order from, that Italian place you always go to. Now, some have accused the industry of switching out real squid. Forget this. Y'all sitting down now? Good. Switching it out for pork bung. Now, use your imaginations on that word. I'll explain what it is a little later in the show. And when we get our appetite back, which we hopefully will, Rocco DeSpirito is here showing you simple ways to satisfy your sweet and salty cravings for under 50 calories. And he's good at this, so I trust him. But first, we're shining the spotlight on the growing concern over hidden ingredients in imported shrimp, which account for over 90% of what we eat. Food journalist Mark Shasker is joining us today. What is it about imported shrimp that's worrying you?
Okay, well, first of all, Americans love shrimp. We're eating on average 4 pounds per person per year, but like you said, 90% of that is imported. It's not from here. So here's what we know about imported shrimp. Some of it has been contaminated with antibiotics. Now, the fear here is that the more antibiotics, like penicillin, that we put into our food, the bigger the risk of creating a superbug, which means when we get sick, the antibiotics aren't going to help us. They've also found that imported shrimp can be contaminated with pesticides and other cleaning agents they use to clean up the pens that they raise them in. Not so appetizing.
Not so ideal.
And they've also found that imported shrimp can be contaminated with rat hair and cockroaches.
Cockroaches can swim?
How are you feeling about that 4 pounds now?
Oh, gosh. How do you get cockroaches inside the water?
They figured a way.
And rats can't swim, can they? I mean, this is terrible.
Well.
All right. The number one reason for all this are the dirty conditions in which farm shrimp can be raised and handled. That's an example one in Southeast Asia. Looking at it, it's pretty big. So Mark set out on a shrimping boat to investigate exactly how shrimp should be caught and what you need to know to protect yourself.
Given all the problems with imported farmed shrimp, I set off to find someone who still catches it the old-fashioned way, in the ocean. My journey took me to the Louisiana Bayou.
Lance, hey, how's it going, man? Welcome aboard.
Louisianan Lance Nacio is a third-generation shrimper.
Shrimping is what I love. It's what I was brought up doing, living off the resources. And my father did it, my grandfather did it. I have a passion for it, and I want to pass it on.
Lance took me out on his shrimp boat to show me how it's done.
So Lance, how much shrimp can you catch in a day?
We've had some days where we caught as much as 5,000 pounds in a day. But
and what's a bad day?
A bad day is 200 or 300 pounds.
Okay. And what kind of shrimp are we trying to catch today?
White shrimp. The white shrimp are typically larger shrimp. They're really sweet and succulent because we have the Mississippi River and the Atchafalaya River that meets the Gulf along the coast in these estuaries, and they taste sweet, our shrimp.
So this here is like shrimp heaven. We're going to catch and eat some really tasty shrimp.
For sure.
It was time to cast the nets and catch us some shrimp. And catch shrimp we did. These ones aren't raised with antibiotics or other nonsense, but with imported shrimp, there's often no way to tell, and less than 4% of it is even inspected.
So Lance, is this a good haul?
This is an okay haul. Normally we catch 2 or 3 times this amount.
What happens now? Do you take these back as they are and sell them fresh at the market?
No, actually what we do with these shrimp is sort them by size, and then we're going to weigh them up, box them, and put them in a plate freezer at 40 below zero.
A freezer?
Yeah. This shrimp here is as fresh as it is. We could deliver this same shrimp in a month from now to New York or anywhere in the U.S. and it'll have this same freshness.
So really, if you want your shrimp to be the freshest, it should be frozen on the boat, and that's what you do.
Yeah.
Lance knew so much about shrimp, I had to ask him one more question.
What's the best way to cook these shrimp?
You know, I like them boiled, but I like them all the other traditional Cajun ways, gumbos, stews, etouffees, jambalaya. But the key to this shrimp is not to overcook them.
To find out how to perfectly cook shrimp, I took some of Lance's haul to one of the best chefs in the country, New Orleans' own John Besh.
Hey, Mark, it's great to see you.
Great to see you.
Been a long time.
Absolutely, straight off the bayou. So John, I'm pretty sure I know how to overcook shrimp. How do I not overcook my shrimp?
High heat, very short amount of time. It does not take long, and I'll just show you how simple this is. And it's literally just as quick as you can imagine. Hot pan, you see that olive oil just shimmering along just like that. Less than a minute, you're talking about 30 seconds on both sides. And then I want to begin to create the pan sauce, which would be some tomatoes, some onions, and that sort of thing. And then my shrimp right back in. Look at that.
The moment of truth, here we go. Oh my God.
Isn't that good?
That is incredible.
I'm actually starving.
We are back with Bubba Schatzker. Like Forrest Gump there, huh? All kinds of different kinds of fresh shrimp and everything you're catching. So how does the fish that we were just watching you taste there differ that much from international sourced fish, shrimp rather, the stuff we normally get?
It's an amazing difference. I really had a moment. It really brought me back to how shrimp used to taste. I felt like I hadn't eaten a shrimp like that in so long.
And explain to me what you mean by international sources of shrimp. Where are they coming from?
Well, some of the imported shrimp comes from Mexico, but most of it comes from Southeast Asia, countries like Thailand, Malaysia, Vietnam.
And I got to say, I mean, now that people see this, and I suspect some folks already knew this, why don't we just buy locally grown, wild-caught shrimp like you just did?
I think the truth is the vast majority of people don't know. We see shrimp in the case at the fishmonger or at the grocery store, and we think, well, that came from the ocean, didn't it? But the truth is most of it is not coming from the ocean.
So it's not coming from the ocean, you must be wondering, where does it come from? So let me show you. This is actually what happens to most of the shrimp that we're eating. It's grown in these big vats, right? And in typical shrimp farms or ponds. This one happens to be in Asia, and they put thousands of little shrimp hatchlings in there. They add them, and then see these little yellow things? These are infections and waste that gets in there around the shrimp, and then they have to cleanse them out. They put that antibiotic or other solutions, chemicals that get added. The shrimp's then caught, right? Not that hard to catch it in a pond, and then sent to a processing plant where it's handled, right, packaged, and more bacteria gets in. Then they fly it all the way across the globe, thousands of miles to America, where it ends up in your supermarket, and then on your plate at home. And as Mark pointed out, you actually don't even think about where it came from. At least I hadn't until today. And the most concerning part about all this is that the FDA only examines about 3.7% of the shrimp shipments coming to the U.S. So we actually don't know how much of those crazy things I showed earlier are really happening most of the time. Well, Mark, this is an area you spent some time on. Why do you think there's not more oversight when it's clear there are potential risks with imported shrimp?
Well, the FDA has a lot on its plate. Now, we eat, like we said, 4 pounds per person. That's millions and millions and millions of pounds of shrimp. It's really hard for the FDA to inspect everything. Now, they did give us a statement. They said that they use a system to determine the riskiest foods, and they actually test a greater percentage of seafood compared to any other type of imported food. A lot of what they do is paper examinations, and they work with officials in other countries to try and get them to meet the rules. And recently, they did find that a shipment of shrimp from Malaysia was contaminated with an antimicrobial that is believed to be bad for our health, so they put an alert on. So they are doing their job. It's just hard for them to catch everything, which is why we need to be conscious as consumers about what we're buying.
So give me the bottom line. Should we stop eating shrimp?
Yeah, there's good news here. You don't have to give up shrimp. You just have to get the right shrimp. So the key is knowing what you're doing.
All right, up next, Mark's going to break down exactly what you need to look for in the grocery store to make sure your shrimp is safe and why it won't break the bank. Stick around. Next, Mark hits the supermarket for a lesson on how to shop for shrimp.
If you thought catching or cooking shrimp was hard, just try shopping for it.
Is fresh better than frozen? Is wild tastier than farm? The shopper's guide to picking the safest and healthiest shrimp out there. Next.
A full hour of investigations, starting with gas station convenience stores. Are those grab-and-go foods healthy and safe? See what we uncovered.
It was just absolutely disgusting.
Then, a burger off the barbecue sounds good. But could eating rare cooked meat give you road rage? We have the surprising answer. All new Oz.
That's coming up tomorrow. back with our Food Truth Shrimp Investigation. Food journalist Mark Shasker hit the grocery store to give you the shopper's guide to pick the safest and healthiest shrimp.
If you thought catching or cooking shrimp was hard, just try shopping for it. We all know a great shrimp when we eat one, but do you know what to look for at your local market to get the tastiest, freshest shrimp possible? Because I don't. That's why I set up a meeting with someone who does. Shalom.
Hey, great meeting you.
Thanks for having me.
My pleasure.
Shalom DeLone works at Tommy's Seafood, a Louisiana company that specializes in great shrimp. So Shalom, if I'm looking for the gold standard best shrimp, what do I buy?
Well, the best thing to get would be Louisiana wild-caught shrimp. Just like this with the heads on. This is right how they came out the water.
And how long ago did they come out of the water?
Less than 24 hours ago. They're that fresh.
Okay, so not everyone's lucky enough to live in Louisiana. If you can't get shrimp that fresh, what's your next best option?
That's right. The next best thing to get would be fresh frozen Louisiana or Gulf caught shrimp.
So you're saying frozen shrimp can actually be fresher than fresh?
In certain instances, yes, because you can never really truly tell how fresh those shrimp are. They might have been out for a few days.
So if you see beautiful raw shrimp in a bed of ice in a supermarket, they could actually be sitting there for 1 or 2 days, so it's not really as fresh as people might think.
Looks can be deceiving.
Could it have been previously frozen?
It could have been previously frozen because our local shrimp season, it's only for a few months out of the year.
The biggest problem buying frozen shrimp, Shalom says, is avoiding the farmed shrimp from other countries.
So two things have to be declared on any package by law. We have to see whether it's farm-raised or wild-caught, and we have to see where it's coming from. So this product right here is farm-raised out of Indonesia. Now, it might be a little cheaper, but it could also possibly be filled with pesticides and chemicals and harmful antibiotics that are banned here in the U.S.
But here's some good news. Not all farmed shrimp are bad. So Shalom, is there such a thing as good farmed shrimp?
There is such thing as good farmed shrimp, and that would be shrimp that's farmed and produced here in the United States. It's almost as good as wild-caught shrimp. It's farmed in recirculating, self-contained systems, so there's no waste, and it's done in an energy-efficient and environmental-friendly manner.
When you're shopping for shrimp, it might be tempting to look for the lowest possible price, but remember where this stuff is ending up, your body. I'll have 2 pounds of wild-caught, fresh Louisiana shrimp, please.
Okay, right away.
Thank you.
So what's the difference between fresh and frozen shrimp? You saw both options there.
Nutritionally speaking, there really isn't a difference, and shrimp is a good food to eat. It's a lean source of protein, great source of selenium, iodine, calcium. So in terms of nutrition, don't worry about fresh or frozen.
And what about imported stuff versus stuff grown in this country?
Well, the wild stuff is definitely better. It's got a lot more of those long-chain omega-3s, the omega-3s that are in your brain. Right. Wild's the way to go for sure.
And how about taste? You're such a gourmand.
Yeah, taste. Well, here's the thing. Shrimp are what they eat, and when they're in those farms, they're eating these shrimp pellets. When they're out in the sea, they're eating seafood. That's where those omega-3s come from. That's what they taste like.
Is that what the color's from also? That little
exactly, carotenoids. It's from algae and all sorts of things. You're seeing the nutrition when you see that.
All right, now the big question, of course, is how fresh is it? When you're buying stuff, you want to make sure that's as fresh as possible. Mark's come up with a checklist to ensure your shrimp is safe to eat. So come on over here. Going to walk us through the simple things we can look for. So we actually save some money too, because we'll know for sure we're getting good to get.
That's right. Okay, so especially when you're buying fresh shrimp, you want to make sure they're firm and they're in their shells and they're not slimy. So is that feeling firm, not slimy?
To a surgeon's hand, yeah. We don't use the word slimy as much, but yeah, it's not as slippery.
You need to use it more.
Yes, more often. That's a very medical term.
Okay. Next off, you want to look for spots. If you see these small spots on a shrimp, that means it's starting to degrade. You don't want that.
So these are just veins, right?
Those are veins. Those aren't spots.
Okay.
And there is an important exception, which are spot prawns, which you find in Seattle, Vancouver. That's an amazing wild shrimp.
Okay, so you don't want to see that.
You don't want to see that.
Okay.
You also don't want yellow or gritty shells. That could mean they've used a nasty bleach to clean them. So that's definitely not something you want to see. And I don't see that there. Those look good to me.
So again, subtle color changes like this are okay. It looks symmetrical.
Yeah, it's
almost.
more when it's gritty and looking like that. That's what you want to be wary of.
All right.
And lastly, and this is the most important, use your nose. Your nose is the best judge of seafood. It should smell fresh and like the ocean. If it smells like rotten fish or really powerfully of ammonia, that's a bad thing.
Yeah, no, this is the
no,
almost.
Smells like you're taking a walk down to the dock.
Exactly, exactly. You're on the beach. You're in the beach. All right. Listen, this is crucial advice. We're actually putting this freshness guide, this freshness shopping guide, up on our website so you can bring it to your grocery store next time you go on your trip. So up next, we're going to talk a little bit about calamari. Remember, I tempted you guys about whether calamari is really from squid or could it be from pork intestine? The answer is next. Next, whether you grill them or fry them, we all love those delicious chewy rings of calamari. But is there something fishy about what you're being sold? We reveal the truth behind the headlines. Is that squid for real, or are you being scammed at the fish market? Find out next. Today's Food Truth, are you being scammed at the fish market? Now, you know all those delicious chewy rings of calamari you get at the Italian restaurants? Aren't they great? Now, I usually have mine grilled, although I know you guys are getting them fried always, the fried calamari. But here are the headlines. Recently, some have claimed that calamari that you're being sold is actually, take a look, pork bung. Pork bung. We're back with food journalist Mark Shasker. If you don't mind, we've been tempting the audience. What exactly is pork bung? It's not a medical term.
Are you sure you want the answer?
I do want the answer.
Okay. Pork bung is pig rectum or large intestine. Hungry?
Except for the fact that this is circular, I guess, compared to what squid looks like. How can they possibly pass this off?
They don't look the same here, but when you cut them into rings, well, they're starting to look more similar.
Yeah, they do look similar.
When you fry them, you tell them apart. You can't.
Which one's which?
Yeah, good question.
Well, this looks like it's next to it, so maybe, can I taste it?
Should
I taste this?
I think you should.
You know what, we're gonna give this to the audience. If we can. All right, I'll taste it, gosh. The things I do for you people. It tastes like pork bung.
Yeah.
It tastes meaty. There's no way they can con me with that.
Yeah, and you know something? They're not. This isn't true. There is no evidence that pork bung has ever been sold as calamari. So
terrible.
you can feel good about your calamari.
It tastes like pork bung would taste if you could actually taste pork bung, which hopefully none of you do. So where did this rumor about imitation calamari come from?
This is an urban myth. It spreads like wildfire on the internet. I think because it's so scary, it's almost believable because we've heard there's so many things wrong with food. We've spent all season investigating them that nothing surprises us. So when someone says this, people go, yeah, that doesn't surprise me. But they're not doing it. And the truth is, calamari is a great story because it's sustainable, it's inexpensive, it's delicious, and it's good for you. So eat calamari. Don't worry about it.
You know the tragedy is we are so jaded.
Exactly.
In skepticism, we actually might believe a rumor like that.
Exactly.
Nice work. All right. Now, while pork intestines being sold as calamari is actually a myth, mislabeling food, unfortunately, is a true story. It's called food fraud, and you may be paying a very high price for it. Beth Lowell's here. She's the campaign director for Oceana. That's the largest international organization focused solely on ocean conservation. So you guys have done a lot of big studies, but you had a very eye-opening one on open water fish. What did you find?
So we tested over 1,400 samples of seafood. So fish, and we looked at shrimp, and we looked at crabs. And we purchased them from grocery stores, restaurants, and sushi bars. And what we found was over a third of the seafood that we tested was mislabeled. And we looked at places, 24 states from coast to coast.
33% of our fish is mislabeled. I'm paying a lot of money for fish that might not be fish.
That's right.
Or at least the right fish. All right, so I mean, again, we just saw with this, this myth about calamari and pork bung. So what are the kinds of things that were being conned with? How does it happen?
So how this happens is that your fish actually travels a very long path from the fishing boat to your dinner plate. And there's no current requirements that require that they actually be tracked or traced from the fishing boat to the dinner plate. So this can happen anywhere in the supply chain, and the more hands that change with the fish, the more likely that you're going to have seafood fraud.
So give us some tips on which ones we should be most worried about. I see a fly coming at this fish already.
Yes.
Get away.
Yes.
I'll catch him while you're talking.
So here we have escolar and tuna. So
this is escolar here.
This is escolar and this is tuna. In sushi restaurants, we found that escolar is sold as white tuna. So if you order white tuna sushi and you get something that looks like this, it's likely escolar, not tuna, and it can give you some digestive problems.
What kind of digestive problems?
Diarrhea. So there's a big difference depending on what you order.
That would be a very big difference. So actually escolar is it's called X-lax fish. For those of you who aren't sure about it, it's a big mistake you don't want to make. All right, what about in this area? This is snapper, one of the most expensive fish that we order.
Right, so this is red snapper, and that is tilapia. Tilapia is a cheaper fish, so you buy red snapper, you think you're getting a high quality fish, and instead you're getting the lower value alternative, well-paying snapper prices.
And how about here? Don't even tell them. What is the fish we should be watching out for here?
Here it's tilefish. So
which of these is tilefish? What's it supposed to mimic? Is that halibut?
Yes, so this is tilefish, and this is halibut. We found in New York City in our testing that tilefish was sold as halibut. And tilefish is a high mercury fish, which the FDA advises pregnant women and children to avoid altogether because it's high mercury levels.
You know, I eat halibut all the time, and I have mercury levels through the roof.
Well, halibut's actually better for you than tilefish.
Yeah, I'm wondering if this is what's happening. But guys, you see how easy it is to confuse this? I mean, I know a fair amount about fish. I would never be able to tell a tilefish from a halibut if it was already cooked for me. And definitely, you know, here I think I'd have a chance, but this would be the area that I'd really get conned.
And I think a challenge is once it's cooked, sauced, and served, you're not going to see a side-by-side display like this. You're just going to have your dinner plate. And that's how people fall for a bait and switch.
All right, thank you very much. Here's how you're going to avoid fish fraud from now on. It's very simple. You're going to buy whole fish. You're going to ask them to cut it into steaks or fillets for you at the store. And do not be afraid. It's your money after all. Do not be afraid to challenge your vendor and ask questions about the fish. For example, ask about the pricing. Let's be honest about it. If it's too good to be true, it probably is. And there's a little trick that I didn't know about before this show, but I want you to know about it now because I do. Look for a QR barcode. They're on all fish. If you look carefully, you'll see them there. Scan it with your smartphone. Get the app for just, QR code tracking, and it'll help you understand where the fish came from. Maybe save you a little bit of diarrhea and other things. Thank you very much, Beth.
Thank you.
Coming up, how you can indulge in fish and chips for under 500 calories. You will not want to miss this.
Next, this popular deep-fried combo is hard to resist. But how do we enjoy it without the fat and calories? We've got the guilt-free alternative for fish and chips.
I want to actually see if this fish and chips recipe can fool the English palate.
And put it through the ultimate taste test. Coming up next. A full hour of investigations. Are those grab-and-go foods healthy and safe? See what we uncovered.
It was just absolutely disgusting.
Could eating rare cooked meat give you road rage? All new Oz. That's coming up tomorrow.
The Beatles, soccer, Dame Helen Mirren. These are just a few of the notable British influences on American culture. So today we are celebrating one of the most important English imports, fish and chips. But, big but here, fish and chips are loaded with fat, they're high in calories. It's taking a really healthy food like fish and turning it bad. But you're in luck today because we're going to show you how you can have fish and chips for under 500 calories. Chef Sam Talbot is here to show you exactly how to do it. How are you?
How are you? Nice to see you.
So, what is it about fish and chips that reminds us so iconically of the summer?
You know, summertime, you're at the beach, you see the boats going out, you see the fresh fish coming back to the docks. It's summertime, right? But the thing is, like you said, a lot of people can just take the fish and drop it right in the fryer. Yeah. A lot of extra calories, a lot of extra saturated fats you just don't need. So, I'm here today to show you a much healthier version.
A better path.
A better path.
All right, start with the fish itself. Most, folks, to see it, dropped in beer batter and all kinds of other stuff like that.
Sure, white refined, white flours, etc. What this fish is, it's really simply, it's not fried and it's baked, right? So we take cod, low in calories, really easy to find, and then we take a little bit of tapioca flour and almond flour, coat it, drizzle it with sunflower oil, and bake it. You get that same nice crispy coating. The tapioca flavor adds a nice crunch to it. Never tell the difference.
Equal amounts of both the flours?
A little bit more almond flour to tapioca flour.
I love it.
Yeah, like three to one.
All right, and what about the chips part? Because that's so important. Without that part of the duo, there's nothing going.
It's true, and chips obviously being a huge part of this dish, also very Americana, French fries, right? So we did a healthier version. What we did was we take turnips, okay?
Turnips?
Turnips. Cut them into a French fry shape. Toss them in coconut oil, right? Great healthy fat for you. A little bit of salt into the oven, and then you have these beautiful turnip fries, golden brown and delicious. Again, like not even close to the same amount of calories as you would in a regular French fry.
And they're
crispy, and they have that same dense flavor of potato, less calories, less starch, and great tasting. I mean, you just had one. Right?
So I'm not going to vote on it yet because I've got a surprise guest to do just that. Now, the surprise, a very special part of this is the tartar sauce. Without that, there is no fish and chips.
It's true. Totally a needed condiment, and this is one of the easiest sauces to make, right? Again, really healthy version of a classic tartar sauce. We take Greek yogurt, high in protein, high in probiotics, a little bit of mustard, some fresh herbs, some chopped, parsley, some caper, lemon juice. Healthy tartar sauce.
All three parts of it. Now, the key question, everybody, is, does it work? We've made you a meal It's a fraction of the calories. I love the taste, what I've tasted so far, but I want to actually see if this fish and chips recipe can fool the English palate.
Uh-oh.
Joining us now is Dr. Tom Flaherty. He's a producer and a member of my medical team. He's always correcting our English. He's
I wore my cufflinks for you.
British cufflinks.
British cufflinks.
He's probably wearing British. Oh, he's wearing British socks. Of
British
course.
socks, too.
Yes.
There they are.
I'd ask you about his underwear, but we don't want to see that. No.
You're not wearing British underwear. Okay.
So go ahead and taste. I want an honest opinion. He's quite critical.
He needs a little tartar sauce.
Yeah, I do.
Okay, let me get you set up. There you go.
Thank you very much.
Probably wants a beer too. You want anything else? Or a chair, cigar?
Guinness? Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, that is very, very good. That is excellent.
It is.
Is there a but?
No, it's actually as English as Shakespeare, as I would actually say. As English as Shakespeare. But by the way, it's football, not soccer. Just a little correction.
Always correcting. Last little jab. Thank you, Tom. Wonderful as always.
Pleasure.
Okay, I'm going to check out his new restaurant. It's called Pretty Southern. It's in Brooklyn. Everything he makes tastes great, just like this. Thank you very much, my friend. We'll be right back. Coming up next, chef and healthy lifestyle crusader Rocco DiSpirito shows us how to indulge your sweet cravings without the guilt. Delicious, healthy treats for under 50 calories.
1 out of 10, past 5.
Oh, if you made it, yeah, it's going to be an 11.
Coming up next. Whoever said a doctor's visit isn't fun has obviously never been to the Dr. Oz show. Is that right? Make your appointment today. Go to droz.com/tickets and sign up for free tickets. My next guest is one of my all-time favorites, and he's back today with some great ways to help you satisfy your sweet and salty cravings. Here's the deal. All of his ideas are under 50 calories. Please welcome my friend, Rocco DiSpirito.
Hey, how are you? All-time favorites, my God.
It's true. He wants to be a healthy lifestyle crusader, and he has done that. He literally told me that probably a decade ago.
I've learned it from the best.
Oh, please. And what you have done, which I love, is design ways of making low-calorie foods that primarily taste great. They just happen to be low-calorie.
Exactly.
Why? Why that passion?
So for me, it was a matter of life or death. About 12 years ago, I was at a point where if I didn't start making healthy choices, I was headed down a path that I was going to be one of your clients, and I didn't want to be one. Look at that guy.
Oh my goodness.
Drunk frat boy, right? I mean, look at that. That was me, 45 pounds more than I am now. And I have a history of heart disease in my family, both sides, and the doctor said, hey, you can start taking all these pills. Here are the side effects. Impotence was one of them. I said, hey, what else can I do?
Yeah, we don't know. We're not doing that.
He said, you can actually just eat better and exercise. And a year later, I did an Ironman and proved to myself that I could do that.
The rest is history.
And ever since, I've been re-engineering foods to make them healthy and delicious.
You got sweet options,
yes.
And we have some salt options later on, but let's talk about sweet cravings for a second.
Sure.
These are going to address them. They don't have much of a calorie penalty. 3 of Rocco's biggest fans are standing right over there.
What's up, guys? How are you?
Now, they are fans, but you always ask us to be honest, because friends tell friends the truth. So they're not necessarily kind people.
You want to see tears?
So we have mini almond cupcakes.
Yes, so
they're
mini
only
almond
39 calories
That's right.
per cupcake. Only 39 calories. How do you make them?
So these are almond cupcakes. They're super simple. They're made in a microwave or an oven in under 10 minutes. The thing is that I don't use flour. I use 100% almond meal. These are ground toasted almonds. And it works just like flour. So it's gluten-free, dairy-free, and sugar-free, believe it or not. And instead of icing, I use mashed up fruit. And I mash it up either on its own or with a little bit of sugar substitute like stevia or monk fruit. And then I'll top each one with this fruit.
All right, so let's go to the bosses over here. Now you're enjoying these. I noticed they're devoured and gone.
They're gone. Gone.
I think you need more.
Bye-bye. Ooh, yeah.
No, don't patronize. Get back.
I feed people taking a living.
Yes, but he's influencing the judges. What do you guys think about these?
Delicious. They were really good.
Really good? 1
Yes.
out of 10? Past 5?
Oh, if you made it, yeah, it's going to be an 11.
That's what I'm talking about. I got worried.
No, they were really good. Delicious, and the fruit on top just
Cool.
What's a more
delicious.
complex flavor than an all sugar flat
It's
flavor?
a good way of
Thank
saying
you.
it.
Complex,
The complexity is a positive. I like
What
the fact
about the
that-
satiety level? Does it fill you up? Do you feel like you're eating something, or is it?
I could go for another one.
So they gotta keep eating
these
them.
foods are is that you can have 5 more, by the way, and there'll be no penalty. Things with these foods is that they fill you up before they make you fat. They're so nutrient dense. They have so much fiber in them that the satiety kicks in quick.
All right. So Rocco's coconut clusters are next.
Yes.
41 calories for 2. Therefore, you're making 2 of these coconut clusters over there. All right, how do you make them?
All right, so the thing with coconut macaroons, everyone loves coconut macaroons, right? Loves. They're 50% sugar, the other 50% is fat. So I decided to make them, and coconut is really good for you, especially high quality coconut. So, but it does contain a lot of calories. So instead of all coconut, I use half coconut, and the other half is grated parsnip. Parsnip is really low calorie density and works really well.
It looks the same.
It actually looks the same. So believe it or not, when it looks like something, you're going to feel like it tastes like something. The eyes will direct your palate. And then we cover it in chocolate. And this is sugar-free organic chocolate. It happens to be available just about everywhere now. That's pretty good, right?
Ladies, what do you think about this?
It's good.
It was good.
Anything
Just
covered
good?
in chocolate is good.
Yes.
And filling.
You put
Very
chocolate
filling.
on anything,
That's what I was gonna say.
it's going to be delicious.
You want more chocolate on it, right?
Oh, I always love chocolate. Yes. But I mean, you can taste the coconut, but you can taste there was something else to it, but it definitely was filling. So you don't even need that many, you know.
Did you miss the sugar?
No.
Oh, didn't realize
No
it was
sugar in
missing
that.
sugar. Yeah.
I think these are even better.
Really?
Than the first item we talked about today. I mean, you do taste the coconut, very much so. All right, third option are chocolate thin mints, super easy, 50 calories for 2 of them. Go ahead and eat both of yours.
So everybody loves the thin mint. You know, when we were kids, after 8 was a really big thing, and peppermint patties, and you know, again, full of sugar, fat, lots of bad things. So what I use here is an organic brown rice cracker. That simple. Chocolate, sugar-free chocolate and you can be very generous with it.
But you're wasting the chocolate in between them.
Oh,
You
you're
just push
so
them
right.
together.
I'm so sorry. You're
Just
right.
push them together like that. Oh my goodness.
He is a scientist, so he knows what he's talking about.
So he's look, I will go like
There
this,
you go.
like this. Oh. All right. Now you're gonna put.
There it is, logoed.
Logoed. So it's a good thing about a short name. You can spell it. All right. So,
I was just wondering if Rocco looks as good in chocolate.
Rocco looks very good. Oh, he missed. That's nice.
There we go.
And cursive.
All right, so then they're mints, right? So we're going to use real mint, go figure, instead of a mint extract. And it tastes just like a chocolate thin mint. It's amazing.
All right. This has to be compared now. Be honest with the other two. What do you guys think?
I love something crispy. I love anything with like chocolate on it. The fresh mint is really nice. It's, again, gives it a fresher,
Not
complex
so.
taste. No?
You're good.
More chocolate.
I do. Yeah, no, I need
There
the
you go.
chocolate.
Here, just look at this. This is
Okay,
just a
done,
bribing.
done. Already, I ate mine.
Just put it in her mouth directly, Rocco. Why bother going through the cracker thing?
If I had a
Just open your
dollar.
mouth. He's gonna squeeze it right in there.
But when you think of oh my God.
Thank you, Rocco.
Okay. But when you think of cracker, you know, I mean, I'm thinking like when I'm sick and I have it with soup. So you never think of an alternative that's
As a
something
sweet.
sweet.
Cracker is a sweet.
Right, and then the
And that's a
mint
good
is just
thing.
a nice.
Are you saying it's a good thing?
It's a great thing.
Oh.
Yes, and the mint was just, it was very fresh. It just
Yeah,
kind
are you
of cleaned the
surprised
palate.
about how much flavor comes from fresh mint? You would think you'd need an extract and all that, but fresh mint actually tastes like mint.
So let me,
Amazing.
if I can get my thought on this, that mint is so surprisingly good
It pops.
that it actually pushes a little bit ahead of the macaroons we just
Oh,
had.
wow. Very
But I love them all. Nicely done. Sorry, enjoy them. Finish them. Enjoy the rest. All right, when we come back, we take a quick break. But Rocco has some amazing low-calorie recipes for these salt lovers like
rest of
me
the
out
awesome.
there. We'll be right back.
Tell me the truth. 25 calories each.
Coming up next, Rocco's not done yet. He's taking your favorite savory snacks and giving them healthy makeovers.
You could literally eat it all day long and would have no calorie penalty.
Simple and delicious low-calorie alternatives to help satisfy your salty cravings. Coming up next.
A full hour of investigations. Are those grab-and-go foods healthy and safe? See what we uncovered.
It was just absolutely disgusting.
Could eating rare cooked meat give you road rage? All new Oz.
That's coming up tomorrow. We just made some popcorn for you. We'll tell you why in a second. I'm back with my friend Rocco DiSpirito, who is showing us great recipes to satisfy our sweet and salty cravings. They're all less than 50 calories, all of his ideas. You showed us a bunch of sweet stuff. Let's move to salty. That's the popcorn. Ladies, are you ready to taste again?
Yeah.
Salty.
We took a vote. You were far too kind to Rocco, so I want some harshness this time around.
Perfectly
Oh,
kind.
please. I want some testosterone in those messages. First up, super popcorn and kale crumble. So we had hot popcorn.
Hot popcorn, just made in the air popcorn.
Yes.
These are $19. You can get them anywhere. One of the best things you can put in your home to help you make food that's good for you. 2 cups of this popcorn is only 50 calories. 2 cups. You could literally eat it all day long and it would have no calorie penalty. Make sure you get non-GMO popcorn.
Kernels.
Otherwise, you're eating pesticides and Roundup. You don't want that.
But the real surprise isn't that.
Here's a cool part about it. So I mix it with a lot of different flavors. In this case, it's going to be kale. So we'll make kale chips by taking dinosaur. This is called dinosaur kale. It's really long, big leaves, easy to prepare. You take out the rib and you spray it with a little bit of olive oil spray and salt it. And then put this in the microwave for about 30 seconds per side. And you get these beautiful kale chips.
Can you imagine that, everybody?
Isn't that incredible?
I mean, Lisa makes these. We have to put them in the oven. I always
in the oven overnight. Yeah.
You can 30 seconds after putting them in a microwave.
Pretty good, right?
Have this.
Yeah, so it turns out the microwave is a great dehydrator. It's much better than dehydrator itself. There are the machines that are designed to dehydrate food. Microwave does it in
regular
seconds.
settings.
Yeah.
Just put on for 30 seconds.
Yeah, I never pay attention to those settings. The steam, poach, defrost. I just use time.
I don't think those buttons even work.
The
whole thing is fake. All right.
There's nothing behind there.
40 calories for 2 cups. I mean, you cannot possibly overeat these. All right, ladies, what do you think? Here, enjoy a kale leaf, dinosaur kale leaf. Share it amongst yourself. You're happy with those, right? All right, they're happy. They're smiling. Okay. Next up.
They're wondering where the beer is.
There, exactly. Sweet potato chips. My friends, 37 calories a cup. Remember the other ones? The sweets were per a little morsel or 2 morsels were 37 calories for a cup, which you'll never eat.
So
show us how to do
all
it.
that's a cup right there. It's about 50 to 60 chips. So all of us love potato chips. They're obviously fried in oil and they're made from white potatoes, which don't have the fiber and all the antioxidants that come in sweet potatoes. Everyone's used to sweet potatoes these days. You can make these yourself at home. Super easy and much less expensive than buying those $3 a bag chips that are not good for you.
Pretty good at that.
So this is a mandolin. It's about $10. It's a really easy way.
Don't you play mandolins?
You can play a mandolin. This is the way a chef plays a mandolin. But yeah, it's that funny Italian guitar.
You have some basic seasoning on these things.
Yeah, so these are seasoned with Old Bay, but you can find online all kinds of chip seasonings like sour cream and onion, barbecue, and they have organic versions now and versions without MSG and sugar. So,
what do you guys think?
Yeah, kick to this.
I like that.
Kick? You like the kick?
I like the kick. Yeah.
My goodness.
So again, these are made in the microwave. You put them on a plate just like this and season them, and about 30 seconds per side, depending on how many watts your microwave has, it will dehydrate and
You
turn
made
into
that
a
up,
chip.
that watt thing.
No, I know about watts, my friend. I did my research. All right. And this is what you end up with. So, super simple.
So you basically
have your kids make their chips. Have them work for their chips. Don't just give them their chips.
Exactly right. All right. I love it. And finally, we have turkey jerky. Now, you guys are always talking about how much you like the jerkies. But this
Everyone
is turkey
loves
jerky,
turkey.
45 calories for one of these healthy, high-protein snacks.
So here's
Show us how to
the
make it.
big difference between this jerky and regular jerky is that it's not cured, so no potassium nitrates, no nitrites, none of that stuff that causes cancer is in here. We actually just cook this again in the microwave. All 3 of these are made, 2 of these are made in the microwave, and it takes about 30 seconds per side. So it's just ground lean turkey.
May I assist you?
Yes, please. Lean ground turkey and some sweetener, some barbecue spice. Ouch! That's it. That's like $1 million thumb right there, right? Is that the one that pushes the valve in?
Yes, that's the one, the valve, the left-handed one goes in. All right, so you spread it out. It's in between 2 pieces of cellophane.
Plastic, yeah. This way you don't get your cutting board dirty, and it goes right from the bowl into the plastic. And the way to cut it in half.
Did you season this turkey before you?
Yeah, so it's got salt, pepper, barbecue seasoning, and a little monk fruit again. So it's an alternative sweetener that has no calories. So you peel the plastic top off, goes onto a plate. Take that plastic off. Again, microwave, 30 seconds per side. You end up with this crispy little wondrous snack that has virtually no calorie penalty at all, no sugar, no nitrates, so much better for you.
All right, I needed some honesty
You can make
here.
this at home.
I'm going to give it to you.
That's my favorite.
By far,
This is my
that
favorite.
is the winner.
It is.
Definitely.
Yes.
It's meaty.
Yes.
Hearty,
I'm
right?
impressed.
I like
and
this
this is
better than
done in the
bacon.
microwave. I am really impressed, and that's easy, especially if you have kids and you need a quick snack
Right.
for after school. That is really.
Yeah, don't trust us. Look in their eyes.
Lots of flavor.
Do you see I grabbed the second one?
You can find all today's recipes at DrOz.com. You guys keep eating. Rocco, love when you're here. Thank you for being here, my friend.
Thank you.
And Rocco's newest book is called The Negative Calorie Diet. That's the book. That's what it looks like on full screen. It is an amazingly done book, as everything he does is.
Thank you.
Studio audience, guess what? The studio audience is upset that they don't have the food to eat. So we're going to pass around the food, but more importantly, we're going to teach you how to fish. You're all going home with a copy of Rocco's book. We'll be right back.
It's the diet and lifestyle trend everyone's talking about. It promises to boost your brain power, fight diabetes, and burn fat instead of storing it.
I've lost 75 pounds and 10 inches off my waist.
See what it is and if it's right for you. Then, detoxing took social media by storm. Now we're taking it to the next level. See how to get the same benefits without the expensive price tag. All new Oz.
That's coming up on Wednesday. Photos go viral for all different reasons, but I always appreciate when it has a deeper meaning behind it. 22-year-old Amber Smith posted a before and after photo on Facebook. Now look at this. The top one with her hair is made up, makeup's perfect. She looks really happy, right? The bottom one posted shortly after she suffered from a panic attack. This photo has reached almost 40,000 shares in her Facebook account. Listen, folks, 5% of the U.S. population will experience a panic disorder in their lifetime. That's 40 million adults in the United States alone. In fact, I bet you there are folks in this audience who have put your hands up if you've had a panic attack. Oh my goodness. That's a lot of fun. Let me go up here. How are you? What's your name?
Hi, Dr. Oz. Teresa.
So what do you think about that picture?
It's very real for me. I've had panic attacks pretty often. Most recently, when I was on vacation, I'm very claustrophobic. So if I'm in that sort of situation, I get to the point where I literally feel like I'm having a heart attack. I mean, I get shortness of breath, the heart races, I feel like I'm choking. And it's very real.
You all echo that,
Very
folks
real.
who've had panic attacks? A lot of people describe it to me as the world's closing in on them.
Exactly.
They squeeze tight.
Exactly. I feel as though, like I said, I can't breathe.
So how do
I
you
feel like
get-
I've been brought to the ER for it because I really literally thought I was having a heart attack. I've actually passed out. It's real, and it's very misunderstood, I believe, too.
How do you get past it when you experience those symptoms?
I most recently I just try and close my eyes and give myself pleasant thoughts and try and get away from the thought of what's really happening to me.
It's remarkable how powerful that technique is.
It's
Here's
very
the fact.
powerful.
Panic disorders, obviously take them seriously. If you have to go to the ER, they're serious.
Yes.
And although people may appear happy on the outside,
Right.
I'm not making you panic now, am I?
Yes, you are.
Oh, jeez. I'll sit over here. Although some people look really happy on the outside, on the inside, there's a waterfall going on.
Right.
And the beauty of our ability to help each other is by looking each other in the eyes.
Right.
Or if your eyes are closed, just being there, supporting you, comforting you, you can refocus people's attention on something else.
Yeah.
And that means the world went to folks who are in an attack. Thank you for sharing your ideas.
Oh, you're welcome.
That's why I think that picture is so compelling.
Yes.
All right, everybody, remember, happy and healthy, it starts at home. Thank you, guys.